Jesus reveals the unshakable core of strength. There are moments when life hits us so hard that our strength feels like it's slipping through our fingers. The weight of responsibility, pain, and uncertainty becomes too much. But what if the secret to resilience, to unbreakable strength, has already been shown to us, lived out perfectly through the life of Jesus? Jesus didn't just preach strength, he embodied it. Every challenge he faced, every moment of hardship, was a lesson written in action, showing us how to find strength not from ourselves, but from something far greater. Here are 6 divine secrets Jesus lived out that will reshape how you face every battle, every storm, every burden. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear might be the very thing your soul has been waiting for. Anchored in trust, how Jesus defied the storms of life. The very first secret Jesus reveals is a radical kind of trust. A trust so powerful, it defies even our most basic needs. When Jesus fasted in the wilderness for 40 days, he was weak, hungry, and vulnerable. The enemy saw a moment to strike, but Jesus didn't falter. When tempted to turn stones into bread, he answered with unwavering clarity, "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Matthew 4:4. Let that sink in. At his weakest, Jesus trusted not in his own power, but in the Father's will. Whether he was facing storms, literal ones at sea, or spiritual battles, Jesus showed us that trust in God is a fortress. He didn't need signs or physical proof. He trusted God's plan even when the path was dark and uncertain. When Lazarus died, many questioned him, doubted him. But Jesus calmly said, "This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory." John 11:4. And indeed, Lazarus walked out of the tomb days later. True strength doesn't begin when everything's easy. It's born when all seems lost, and you choose to trust anyway. Prayer as power, the fuel behind every miracle. The second divine key to resilience is prayer, not as a ritual, but as a lifeline. Jesus didn't just teach prayer. He lived it, breathed it. In the Garden of Gethsemane, as the shadow of the cross loomed over him, he cried out, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." Matthew 26:38. And then he prayed, again and again, "Not my will, but yours be done." His spirit was crushed, yet through prayer he stood firm. While his disciples fell asleep, Jesus rose ready for the cross. He prayed before major decisions, like choosing his disciples. He withdrew often to pray in solitude. Why? Because prayer was his power source. In Luke 11, a disciple watched Jesus pray and couldn't help but ask, "Lord, teach us to pray." Jesus answered not just with a prayer, but a blueprint for spiritual strength. Persistent, soul-deep, honest prayer isn't just for moments of crisis. It's for every step. It's where weakness becomes strength. The strength of servanthood. Why serving is supernatural. In a world obsessed with self, Jesus flipped the script. The greatest among you must be your servant. Matthew 23:11. He knelt and washed his disciples' feet, shocking them. He fed thousands with loaves and fish when he could have sent them away. He healed, comforted, embraced the outcast, not for recognition, but because serving was his mission. Even as the Son of God, he didn't demand a throne, he carried a cross. When we serve, we tap into a deeper resilience. It's in helping others that our own burdens lighten. As Galatians 6:9 reminds us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest. Service transforms our pain into purpose. It builds compassion, and compassion builds strength. In a world that tells you to look out for yourself, Jesus whispers something more powerful. Look outward and you'll find me. Faith that moves mountains, forgives wounds, and accepts the unknown. What held Jesus steady wasn't comfort, it was faith. On a stormy sea, while the disciples panicked, Jesus slept. When they woke him, he calmed the winds and said, "Why are you afraid, you of little faith?" Matthew 8:26. When a bleeding woman reached out just to touch his robe, he stopped everything and said, "Your faith has healed you." Mark 5:34. Even a mustard seed's worth of faith, Jesus said, could move mountains, because it's not the size of your faith, but the power of the one you place it in. But he didn't stop there. Jesus forgave, even on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Luke 23:34. Forgiveness, he showed us, is one of the greatest acts of spiritual resilience. It frees us from bitterness and opens the door to healing. And then, the hardest of all, accepting God's will. In Gethsemane, knowing the suffering ahead, Jesus prayed, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." That acceptance wasn't passive, it was courage on a cosmic scale. Abraham, Job, and even Peter learned this lesson too, that surrender to God's plan, even in confusion, is where true unshakable strength is found. The final revelation, a roadmap to inner strength. Here it is, the path Jesus walked, and the one he invites you to follow. Trust God when life is darkest. Pray until strength rises again. Serve like your life depends on it, because someone else's might. Have faith that doesn't flinch, forgive without conditions, and accept God's will even when it's hard. This is the kind of strength the world can't take away, the kind of resilience that shakes hell and awakens hope. If this message stirred something in you, subscribe to Abyssal Narratives. We dive deep into the spiritual truths that strengthen your soul.